Welcome to Being at Home with George. I'm excited to be here, and I'm also excited with the new possibilities we have with creating the possibility of saying yes to whatever comes up, embracing it, and generating the hope and keeping the faith, I would say, in terms of the hope, because we talk about the Hall of Fame all the time, the hope, optimism, faith. And so here we want to talk about faith. And it just so happens that we're having the fall Mindful Athlete online course. And it's a 6-week study group. And this last superpower we're on this week is trust or faith or confidence, however you want to look at it. And it's interesting. I feel like when we're talking about these things, this is when issues that have to do with this show up. And so I'm noticing that it's easy to be in the eye of the hurricane or be serene when the sun is shining, when things are working, when you're in the eye of the hurricane. It's much more challenging when you're in the storm, when things aren't going right. And so, how do you keep the faith? And it's interesting because what I learned in my recovery is faith without works is dead faith. And so, how do you keep the faith when you're in the storm, when you're in difficulty? And the way you access or keep the faith is by acting as if. It's like this idea of having faith that what you're doing is going to get you the result that you want. So acting as if is very different than fake it till you make it, because the underlying principle there is you're faking it, you're not being real, you're not being authentic. But acting as if has a lot to do with this idea of you're going to achieve your goal, you just have to put in the work. You have to act as if and then continue on as if things are going to work out. So I've had multiple examples of that, but just before getting onto this call, I will go through a period of machinations. I've had my laptop for maybe 6 years or so. And during my online course, twice I was in the middle of a class and my computer just lost connection with the internet and I couldn't get connected again. But I had my iPad, and because I put Greg on as a co host, we didn't lose anything. So that happened twice. Also happened during a podcast where I had to resort to having my iPhone. And so these things kept happening. But when they happened, I was able to stay in the eye of the hurricane and do what I needed to do to get back on track. But at some point, I had to get a new laptop. And that was a whole other machination of acting as if. And so just get on this call because I have a new laptop and I'm in a hotel. And so when I tried to connect to the internet, it asked me for my login information. So I put my login information in and it doesn't work. And so I pull out my iPhone and I have the app on there and I'm connected to it. So here we are. It's the same login information, but it wouldn't work on a laptop. So what I had to do is after multiple tries, I don't know if it's 5 or 6, I'm a little bit stubborn, but after multiple tries, I just said, okay, so why don't I go onto my iPhone and change the password and then log in with that information? And then it worked. But there was a lot of work. I acted as if I was going to get to the solution. And that's the whole key. You can be in the storm, but you can always get into the eye of the storm. You can always get into serenity by acting as if things are going to work out. Realizing that when I am clear with my intention, the universe will collude. Joseph Campbell talked about this in terms of doors open where there were no doors. And so just a reminder that keeping the faith without works is dead faith. So you got to have good faith and act as if you're going to figure it out. And that's what happened. That's why you're seeing this now, because I acted as if I kept the faith. And even though there was adversity, I knew that I would get to the other side.